popping on here on the Zoom. We'll still have people popping in here on Zoom, so our co-hosts will take care of that. Remember, if you guys have any questions or anything, don't hesitate to raise your little icon hand or talk in the chat if you have any questions. So we went over chapters 1 and 2 today. We'll have a quick little PowerPoint of some stuff that I just wanted to highlight. And then we're going to have kind of a quick game that you guys can play, if you're on a computer, then you can just pick another tab on the computer and play this game. It's a live game, so everybody's going to be answering it at the same time. Or you can do it from your phone if you have a secondary device. But we're going to go ahead and go through that PowerPoint first. So I'm going to go ahead and do the old share the screen thing real quick. All right, you guys should be able to see that. Chapters 1 and 2 review. And this is just some of the stuff that I picked out of there that I wanted to highlight. And then there's some more information in the questions. All right. Whoops. So the IRPG, we talk about IRPGs, you've seen them a lot. They're a big part of our PPE. We keep them in our pockets at all time. This is actually the older version. This is the purple. We have a 2022 version and it's yellow, but it has a lot of useful information in there. And we have, if you look in your additional resources, within all your chapters at the very bottom, it says additional resources. There is an IRPG, it says IRPG 22, and go ahead and look through that. And it has like your 10 and 18. It has a lot of useful information in it, and we refer to this all the time. So a good thing to look up. We'll talk about task books. This isn't something that's really highlighted very much, but task book is, we get different positions out on the fire, and once you take a class or you get issued a task book, we get evaluated on certain tasks out on the fire, whether it's being a helicopter crew member and you have to go out and do certain tasks to get signed off. And then you have an evaluator that signs it off. You have to have 3 or more people to sign it off before you're actually qualified. It gets turned in and put into your IQS so that it is a national, becomes a national certification, and it's on your red card. So big thing about task books is to, if you get issued a task book, make sure that you take it with you at all times, take care of it. We keep it in little plastic bags because our gear tends to get wet, but have it with you so that whenever you do something that has to do with what's in that task book, you always have it with you. An evaluator can go in and sign it, and you can quickly get evaluated. So any of your certifications or fire evaluations on a fire, good thing when you start off in your fire career is to build a binder. In that binder, you want to put all your certificates. That's going to include, like some of you have the ICS 100 and 700. You want to put that in there. If you go out on a fire, most likely you're going to get an evaluation from either your crew boss or an engine boss, or someone on a helicopter, or a task force leader, or someone. You'll get a evaluation from there. That evaluation also needs to be put in here, and any other classes that you take, like this class, you'll get your Navigate certificate through, the 100 or the S130 and 190, and the L180 is all within this course. So you want to keep those certificates in this binder, and as your fire career as you go on in your fire career, you'll get more and more of those certificates and evaluations, and you want to keep those for any employment that you'll have. It's just like your own personal, um, keeping all your own personal stuff so that you can use it in the future. So a big thing that we don't talk about much is social media. So once you start getting out on some fires and stuff, you have to be really careful about social media when you're out there, taking pictures of people's maybe personal property that may be burning or stuff like that. You just have to be really, really careful about what you post. And on social media, we do have people that post for us. It's our public information officer. And sometimes some of those pictures you need to clear through your supervisor before you start posting things. You can get into some like hot water if you post some stuff online. So just be really careful. I'm not going to read through all of this, but take your time to read through it. But social media is a good and bad thing, in our society today. So just be really careful. So gathering information, we talk about situational awareness. Situational awareness is huge, and it starts from when you get up in the morning. When you know what the weather is for today, what the weather was yesterday, and what the weather is for the next 7 days. This is kind of gathering some of that situational awareness. This is stuff that you can do on your own. Knowing that, hey, we got a big, wind event coming up, kind of some of the stuff. And they talk about gathering information in these chapters. So you can get some of that information, some local information from the fire danger pocket cards. They talk about these. And especially within the certain regions, they're a little bit different. We actually use something different up here for our indices, and then a couple of later chapters we'll go over those on how we rate fire danger within Alaska. If you know, Alaska fuels are a lot different than any of the fuels down in the States. It's really compared to Canada fuels. But we'll kind of go over those and teach you guys a little bit about indices on some future PowerPoints. The IAP, the Incident Action Plan. This is a booklet that you will get on any big extended fires, a type 1 fire, a type 2 fire, and even a type 3 fire. We'll get these type of booklets, and here is information that you will get. They're updated every day, and it has all kinds of information that you need, the incident objectives, the assignment, so what division is doing what and who is listed in there, the division assignments, all the radio communications are going to be in there. The medical plan is in there, traffic plans, the safety plan, and it usually has maps in there as well. So the ICS, so they talked a little bit about ICS organizational chart, and we will go over this. This is for a large incident, but not only just a large incident, but even a smaller incident has just a smaller scale. But this is an organizational chart for a larger incident. So the first person you're going to see on here is the incident commander. That's the person that is in charge of the fire. Even if we have a small fire, like a burn barrel fire, where there's just one person and a small engine crew, there's always going to be an incident commander. So they're the person that's in charge, and that would go right down into the next would be like a single resource. So it would be just the two of those. When you get into a little bit bigger stuff, also in there is that public information officer. They're up in that the upper management, the liaison officer, and liaison is a person that will deal with other indices, so or other organizations. They'll work with the local police, they'll work with the local fire departments, like the Division of Forestry or whatever, whether it's federal or state. And then you'll work with landowners and all kinds of stuff. So they're that person that's talking to all of them. The safety officer is obviously the person that is making sure that everything is safe in all the fire grounds, and any type of fire activity and strategies and tactics are usually ran through the safety officer to make sure that everything is safe. Here in the operations section, this is our workforce section. It's either, if it's a large fire, it's broken up into branches. From branches, it's broken up into divisions or groups. The major difference between a division and a group is the division stays the same. It's usually in a division A, a division B, so it's usually a letter. And groups are also groups, but they can move around a fire without moving geographically or staying geographically in one place. So we can have like a structure group or a rehab group, and they can move about the entire fire. Air ops branch, they're the guys that are in charge of all the helicopters and fixed wings, and even the drones is in that air ops branch. Underneath divisions, you've got strike team leaders, task force leaders, and any single resource. Single resource is going to be anything from engines to even heavy equipment and crews, or even single resource things like task force leaders, heavy equipment bosses, stuff like that. So that's the operations section. The planning section, they're the ones that are ordering resources. So they're the resource unit. They're actually tracking all the resources for accountability, where they are on the divisions and the branches, and where they are, their aircraft and everything. They have a big wall where they keep, every single person has a card, and they move those cards around according to where they move them. And they also, this is how we build the IEPs. So someone will come in and look at where everything's located, and then that will match what the IEP is going to look like in the morning. So we know that in Division Alpha, we have this many resources, and this is who they are. The situation unit is usually where they're building maps and how the fire is progressing, and where they've, what we call black line. If that portion of that fire is out, we black line it, or if it's extended, this is where the sit unit is, and they also put a lot of different things on maps, like where the helibases are, where the staging areas are, where some of the main roads are, where the divisions are located, and when they change, they'll change them on those maps so everybody knows. The demob unit, I mean, that's the demobilization. So they're like, when people are coming and going, they are letting the resource folks know when they're leaving, and when everybody leaves, you have to go through the demob center. And they also help people for travel, whether you're flying or anything. They'll help you leave the incident safely. The documentation unit, that's where almost every piece of paper on a fire gets documented. It'll either get scanned and put into a computer, and I think they keep it for 7 years, just for in case of any type of investigation. So logistics, this is the people that take care of us. So in the service branch, we got the communication. So they're the people that are running our radios. They're doing all the communication. Our medical unit, so they're the ones that are making sure that we're safe out there and sending either EMTs or line medics out on the line throughout the divisions. Food unit, they're the ones that are taking care of us, whether they're shipping out fresh food boxes in Alaska, or they're down in the States and working with caterers and stuff like that, and making sure we have lunches and breakfast and stuff. So the support branch, we got the supply unit. That's how we get all of our stuff, whether it's our pumps and hoses, our gear, our tools, things that we need out there on the fire. Facilities, these are things like hand washing stations, porta potties, even things like if we're out in the middle of nowhere and we need to have yurts put up so that some of these sections have a place to be. And then ground support. Ground support is a lot of our vehicles, UTVs, ATVs, stuff like that. So we're going to use ground support, and they also, if things are roadside, they'll work with the supply unit, and big trucks will fill up their trucks with supplies and drive them out to the fire line. So the most important branch right here is the finance. So they're the ones that are getting us paid. You know, they're the ones that are the time unit. They're making sure that we're, getting our time in correctly and that we're getting paid properly. The comp claims and procurement, they kind of like work together. These guys are like if something gets, say you have a tent that's out there that you're using and it gets ripped for some reason, or something on your vehicle, you get a flat tire or something happens, they're gonna put in a report so that the fire can help pay for getting a new tent or getting something that needs to be replaced. And then the cost unit, so they're the ones that are tracking all the cost of the entire fire, and that's a pretty hard job. They're taking the cost of everything, of what it costs for the helicopters to fly, to have all the engines on and everything. So they're accumulating what the whole cost of the fire cost to have the fire, um, to make everything work. And so that's a pretty hard job, is trying to figure how much it all costs. So that's a quick, oh, you guys get to see my screen. So that's a quick down and dirty of, that's kind of confusing when you think of the organizational chart. Hopefully that cleared it up a little bit. I know that was a lot. Once you get on one of those bigger fires, you'll be able to see how we need all of those units to make a firework. Everything needs to, every person has a part in it. It's not just a bunch of firefighters out there working. We need people to feed us and take care of us and make sure we get paid. That's pretty important. So all those units work together to make the fire work. So we're going to move on real quick. Does anybody have any questions about that PowerPoint? It was a pretty quick one. We're going to try and play this game. So it is a live game. You're going to get a address to click in, so an email, or not email address, but a link. You'll see it on the screen, and then you will see a code. And we're going to go ahead and see if this works. And this will be the first time I've used it, so hopefully it works. Let me try it one more time. We're going to share a screen and start live quiz. Classic. Might take me a second. Continue. All right. So in there, go ahead and you can use any device. You'll go to joinmyquiz.com. You'll get a code to enter, and then we'll give you just a few minutes, and then we'll log back on, and let's see if it works. Just shout out if you guys have any issues with it.
Hey, Robin, I think you're muted.
Test going on.
So I think we just got a few more people finishing up and then we'll jump. All right, guys. So it looks like everybody finished. Nice job. How was it? Does anybody want to tell me how it worked out? That was the first time we used that. Any
We
feedback?
have Kahoot, but it's not bad. It seemed pretty streamlined and straightforward.
Yeah, it's a lot like Kahoot. The only difference is I think this one was a free one, and the other one we had to pay for. So yeah, it's a lot like that. If anybody's ever done Kahoot before too, it's very, very similar. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna break up into breakout rooms. It's gonna randomly put you into different rooms. Both Fraser and Selmer are gonna be leading those, and we're gonna do another kind of a Jeopardy game, and it's gonna have a lot of the questions from both chapters 1 and 2. So if Selmer, if you want to go ahead and put everybody in a breakout room, make sure you participate in all of the activity, the whole activity. So they're going to be in charge of you. And you just wait to set up those breakout rooms. It might take a second.
How's it going?
It's going good. How about
Good.
you?
Good, good. Uh, good to see you guys. So we're gonna do this little game. So I gotta share my screen with you. So pretty much we're just gonna call on everybody, just kind of pick one out, answer the question, and if you guys have any questions, we can talk about it and try to get you guys to better understand as best we can via Zoom. Cool. Can you guys see Jeopardy?
Yes, sir.
All right, sweet. Let's just start it off. Somebody should go first.
Yep. Somebody wants to pick a subject and just start reading it.
Unit 100.
Unit 1 for 100. Nate. All right. You're expected to be able to carry up to how many pounds?
Can I beep in? Do you have to say what is 45 pounds?
No, you could just say 45 pounds.
That works for me. 45 pounds.
Sweet. That's good. So it says 45 pounds, but sometimes when you're on fire, expect to carry more than that. That's just kind of our standard number for the pack test. But if you're on a saw, you probably be expected to probably carry around more like 65 to 70 when you're carrying a saw and fuel and things like that. And up here, when you're carrying a QB, which is 5 gallons of water every day, some people are assigned to carry that for the crew. So that's another 45 pounds just on its own. So the 45-pound pack test is just to simulate your working weight, what you carry around. Cool. Tim, what do you got for me?
I'll take forms for 100.
Forms for hundo. Most agencies require a minimum of FEMA classes for ICS to be
The 100, 700. And was it the
Yep.
500?
200. Yeah. So these are the basic requirements. And the longer you guys stay in here, there'll be more classes like ICS 300 and 400 for higher classes to be incident commanders. So sweet. James, you got one for me?
Yes, sir. Unit 1 200.
Blank is a pocket-sized book that outlines standards, references, information.
Yeah, what is the safety pocket cards?
I think it's IRPG.
Oh yeah, IRPG.
Yeah, so IRPG was like Robin was saying is kind of what minimum carry in our pockets at all times, but there's an assortment of things that you'll end up carrying like those pocket cards and things like that. So yeah, right on.
Mhm.
Who else do we got? Everett, I think that's you next, probably.
For 500.
What'd you say for 500? Sorry.
TB, the pocket test book, or
Position task book.
it's the performance task book,
Yeah.
something like that.
Position task book. Cool. Did that make sense? How Robin was explaining it? No questions about kind of how task books work. Cool. You take a class for a qualification, and then you get issued a task book that you need to complete to show that you can do that task unsupervised. Joseph, what do you got for me?
How about fire scene 100?
You got any ideas?
The first one with the most experience on the site.
First arriving officer, yeah. So it's usually if it's an engine, it's usually the engine boss. If it's a helicopter, it's usually the helicopter manager. If it's a crew, it's usually the crew boss or crew superintendent. And if it's like a IA module, it's the module leader. Just for you guys' knowledge. James,
Yes, sir.
you go.
There's two of them.
Oh.
Oh, fuck. I mean, shit.
Unit 1 for 300.
Red card. Yeah.
Yeah, red card.
Red card, cool. Sometimes red cards are red, sometimes they're not. They're different colors. So. Okay. Who else we got over here? John, is that you? Have you talked?
Yeah, I haven't gone yet. I'll do let's do ICS for 100. Is this the liaison officer?
Public information
Look
officer.
information.
Oh, public information officer. Okay.
Yep. So public information officer works for like the media, and liaison works for agencies. So it'd be like if Chiac Fire Department had a fire, the liaison would work with the fire chief. And if it was on like BIA land and like Chugak's response area, then we'd work with the fire chief and the BIA rep. So they could all have says. The biggest thing about liaison is like people can have a say in what happens on their land. If there's like historical sites or kind of areas of concern that they have, it helps out to have those people. All right. The second James.
Unit Nana. ICS 200. Would that be the safety commander? Or safety officer?
Yep, you're good.
Nice.
And the safety officer kind of works directly for the IC. He doesn't work under any of the operations planning or any of those people. So he might have line safeties working underneath him, actual safety guys that are on the line versus he might be back at ICP with the team. All right. Anybody else can just spitball if they want to guess the rest of these.
Unit 1, 400.
Is it the
Urban.
wildland urban interface?
Yep, it is the WUI.
Fire scene 200. Initial attack.
Yep. Yep. So initial attack is usually a fire that would get contained within that first or second operational period before it turns into an extended attack fire.
I'm gonna jump in real quick. So just to let you guys know, you guys have access to this under chapter 1. It'll just be labeled game and you can play this whenever you want to. And all of these questions are taken from the quizzes and also from the tests. So it's a good little tool to study with. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Robin, for your 2 cents. Anybody else? I could
Forms
ICS
200.
forms 200.
General message form.
Yep. Right. Yeah, so general message forms are they're super left blank and open, so you can use it for anything from like requesting like a UTV, a truck, or ordering supplies. So it's kind of just an all-around form to communicate with resources back at ICP or dispatch or the agency responsible for the fire.
Do ICS 300. This is logistics section. Or are we trying to get more specific?
Oh, perfect.
CS 500.
Somebody said ICS 500.
Sure. Incident commander, operations section, logistics, planned, finance.
I think you got them all. Yep. Command, operations, planning, logistics, and finance.
Fire scene 300.
Yeah.
Anybody got an idea to help them out?
Base camp.
Anybody else have another answer?
Staging area?
Bingo. Yeah, so base camp is usually ICP, or ACP is where everything's kind of hardwired located at, like the command staff, camp, And staging area is just kind of like a giant parking lot where all available resources can just park and hang out till they have a mission for them. Okay, let's go ICS 400. Anybody can guess.
The planning,
What'd you say?
the planning section.
Yep, ops section. Go forms 300.
Incident objectives.
Yep. And all these ICS forms are going to be located in your IAP, which is the incident action plan.
Media plan.
Medical plan. Yep. Yep. So usually the medical plan will have all hospitals, air medevac phone numbers. What else? What else? Call signs for ambulances or line medics on there, things like that.
Is that divisions?
Division.
Yep. So divisions are geographical locations, like hard points on a map, and groups are mobile things that can cross geographical lines for certain tasks.
Incident action plan.
Yep.
Letters.
Sweet. You guys have any questions for me about anything? We got 5 minutes before we got to go into the other group. Nothing? Word. Well, a lot of this stuff you guys are learning is pretty, might be a go over your head a little bit, but slow and steady, it'll kind of all come together towards the end. And then once you get actually working on a wildland incident, it all kind of makes sense and just kind of becomes second nature. So, but yeah, you guys all have plans on coming out and EFFing this season, or what do you guys got going?
Yeah, I do.
Sweet.
Do, yeah, put this EMT3 and some firefighting to this work.
That'd be good. Yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to start bringing people on when high fire danger comes on and things like that. And you guys who are on volunteer departments, usually you guys can choose the EFF or end up kind of going out with the department if it gets called. So cool. If you guys don't have any questions, you guys can leave the break room and head on over for the last little bit. Kind of
I think we're all back. think both rooms have been closed. It usually takes, so there's a little bit of a delay before everybody gets back. All right, so I want to thank both of our instructors. They're new to this program, and I think they did a great job facilitating that. So good job. And we'll just set up for tomorrow. The goal is to have both chapters 1 and 2 finished and completed along with the quizzes by tomorrow morning. And then we're going to start into the chapters 3 and 4. If you want to, you can read ahead if you're already ahead of that, but make sure that you guys are all logged in by 9 o'clock in the morning. And I'm just going to open it up now for any questions. Does anybody have any questions about pretty much anything, whether it's the stuff for today, chapter 1 and 2, or anything about the class, the field day, any type of questions? Go for it.
Yeah, so what are all the things that we're going to be doing on the field day?
So there's going to be lots of things, and and maybe hopefully I can have it for you guys by tomorrow, but it's a lot of things that we're required to be going over, everything from how to build and use a drip torch to working with our Mark III pumps, building different types of hose lathes, rolling hose, butterfly and hose, working with a lot of our maps and our GPS and our compasses, doing spinning weathers, working with the radios. It's just all the hands-on stuff that we are not able to do, because we're all little boxes on a computer right now. So all that stuff that will be all of the hands-on stuff. So it'll be yeah, it'll be all that hands-on stuff. Well, hopefully we even may be able to do a little bit of burning on our heli base out here. So that would be really cool, just depending on weather. That's a good question. Has anybody else got anything else?
If I do a little bit ahead of time, I probably won't be there for the session tomorrow afternoon. Are
Okay.
you going to have that available somewhere, or is that going to be emailed
Yep.
directly to me for
So-
a recorded meeting?
Yeah, so what we do is we take attendance every day, and with every session, we record every session. And as soon as those recordings are converted, we have to convert them into a YouTube. Once they're converted, then at the end of the day, we email all those people that were absent for that or whatever, we email that to them. Good thing to try and be there as much as possible, because we do a lot of hands-on stuff, and it's able for you guys to converse back and forth with us with any questions that you have. But yeah, we'll make sure that you get that email emailed to you as soon as it's converted. We send it out. So that's a good question. Anybody got anything else?
Hey, Robin, I got a quick, if we're on the class and we get a call, is it okay if we just leave, or we'll be okay just to let you know, hey, we got a call, we're gonna have to run out?
Yeah, you can either, if you have a second, you can drop it in the chat, or if you just need to like raise your hand and be like, hey, we just got a call, or anything like that. I know some of you guys are working, and so totally get that. That comes first, so yeah, just let us know
Thank you.
if you can, if you got time. Cool. All right. So if anybody does have any other questions and they want to hang out, the instructors and myself will hang out for just a few minutes after the Zoom classes, or as soon as everybody leaves. But we will see everybody at 9 tomorrow for the next 2 chapters. All right. I will see you guys later. Thanks a lot, guys, for your participation.
I have a quick question. I was going to ask it, but then I was like talking over someone. With like the EFF, like how much time do you get notice for like availability to jump on one of those or not?
So it's kind of situational. It really depends on what's going on. A lot. So I'm in charge of the EFF. I'm in charge of all the hiring and stuff like that. So sometimes we get like really short notice where like, hey, we want to make sure that, go ahead and get your bags packed and stuff. And we're meeting here in Palmer at, 8 o'clock in the morning. We've had that. We also have like, sometimes we'll be in like high fire danger and we'll be like, hey, are you able to just come in and fill on an engine or, and maybe you can't this day, but the next following day you can, and we'll bring you on. So it really kind of is situational, especially with not knowing what the weather's going to do. If it's really hot and dry, sometimes we'll just bring people on as, when they're available. But sometimes you get lots of notice. Sometimes you don't get very much notice. We've had years where we've kept EFF on like almost the entire summer, especially in like 2019. I think the EFF worked from the beginning to the end. And once you get more qualifications, you can work more and more. But yeah, notices can be one day, one couple hours, but it just kind of it varies. So
Gotcha. I was just wondering, I'm like doing some guiding this summer
mhm.
because I wasn't really sure how it was gonna work or whether or not I get in the class. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure how many people were gonna get let in. So I was just kind of interested in, because it sounds cool. I'm not sure. Yeah.
And are you
how
doing that a lot?
flexible-
Are you doing that a lot towards the end of the season, like August?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a flexible job. Like I just kind of click a calendar. I haven't started yet, but the way it was described is I just show when I can work, and if
Okay.
you're open, they just fill you. So like they'll give you a, Matanuska Glacier, or they'll say go down to Seward and pick people up and bring them upturn again.
Nice. Actually sounds fun.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
guess if that's when
It's not one of the things. So EFF is weird. So it's not something that you can rely on as like, that you're going to be able to work most of the summer or any of the summer. It really like if it rains all summer, we're like, even us as technicians, we don't really get a lot of overtime and stuff like that either. But then there's other times where we're really hurting for people. And right now we actually don't have a very big EFF pool. And so, yeah. I can't tell you. I wouldn't ever recommend you like turning down your own work though for it unless you knew for sure that we were taking you out though, because I know it's like to make money. So don't
is it
turn
possible
down.
to be on the EFF list and like as a reserve or something?
Oh
Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
things got really hot in August and I'm like, okay, like I'm aware
yeah.
that there's a lot of stuff happening. Let me just cancel out my tours and do something more.
Yeah. So what
consistent with you
the
guys,
way
or-
the way it works is we put you on a list and say we get something where I need a bunch of EFF. I'm gonna call them up and you're gonna say, hey, I'm out working right now, or say you don't answer the phone because you're out of service or whatever. And then I'm like, oh, no big deal. I'm just going to go to the next person on the list. It's not a big deal. You don't get taken off the list or anything like that.
Okay.
You could tell me, hey, I'm going to be available in like a week or so, and then I might give you a call back. So it's not like one of those, if you don't get called or if you can't come and work, you're taken off the list or anything. So it's just a list to call up people.
Gotcha,
and
okay.
and everybody before the class is over, I'm going to send everybody in the chat a chance to sign up on that list. So you guys will get that.
Cool.
Cool. Right on. You got
thank
anything else?
I guess so. As far as the chapters, like get them read before the morning class is like the schedule. So
yeah, it's trying to get them done before, early in the morning so you can start on the next chapters. I know sometimes things come up or whatever. We really want you guys to try and keep up with those, at least those 2 a day.
okay, cool.
So cool. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Have a good evening.
Yeah, later.